So the truth is actually more like both the fully vaccinated and the unvaccinated are actually on the grey scale. You might say that the fully vaccinated is a bit closer to the white than the unvaccinated. However, they are both on the grey scale. Because both can actually get sick, and therefore both can give the disease to others. And irrespective of whether you're fully vaccinated or unvaccinated, if you get sick, you can give it to anybody whose immune system is weaker or more compromised. So that could be another fully vaccinated person, or it could be a single vaccinated person or an unvaccinated person. This is the scientific data. However, the way it's been presented in the media, and unfortunately by many of our leaders, is that these two, the fully vaccinated and the unvaccinated, which are both on the grey scale, are in fact have been separated. The fully vaccinated has been put to the white scale or white end, and the unvaccinated has been put onto the black, to make it a black and white issue. This is actually not correct. It's not scientifically correct, because both can actually get sick, and both therefore can spread the disease and cause or contribute to community transmission. So this is what's unacceptable in a democracy. And now the last step that we've just been seen this week is that in the church we're being told, and every religious leader is being told, that you must change the way in which you are actually going to carry out your ministry. Now, churches by definition are generally open to everyone who wants to be a part of it. We've never taken surveys and said, oh, sorry, you've got leprosy, you can't come into the door. But for whatever reason, those who've chosen not to be vaccinated, that's their decision and their business, and it should be respected. But they're being told, sorry, you can't come and be reconciled to God. You can't come and worship. You can't pray. That's sounding to me not what we've come to expect from Australia as a free country in a democracy, but rather what we'd expect in a totalitarian dictatorial regime. I was talking to someone recently who, in fact, grew up and spent his youth in a communist country. And he said to me, Mark, it's sad to see, but it's starting to feel like my home country. And when I heard that, I thought, wow, this is not good at all. So it's raised the tensions very, very high. And that's why I want to now just offer some thoughts about how we can actually talk and should talk about COVID, regardless of where we are on the vaccine or non-vaccine. I support vaccination. I think it's a great thing, but people have a right to freedom and full consent and knowledgeable consent. So if for whatever reason they choose not to, that's their business, and it should be protected under law. And we've been told this by no one less than the Prime Minister. So, but obviously calling someone an anti-vaxxer doesn't make any constructive help at all. We need to appeal to persuasion, to people's reasoning, rather than to browbeat them. Browbeating not only is unchristian, but it's degrading to the human person, and we cannot advocate that if we in fact want to build up the common good and avoid a very divisive issue becoming even more divisive. So first point I would say is that to listen sincerely. Listen sincerely to the person you are speaking with. Try and hear them not only with your head, but with your heart, with your emotions. Because when we listen sincerely, we actually take a person into ourselves in some degree. And particularly I'm thinking that not only just work colleagues, but long-time relationships, family relationships that are being tested because of this issue, because it's made people polarized, one side or the other. Secondly, to avoid condescension or name-calling, being judgmental. Oh, you're an anti-vaxxer. Oh, you're just a gullible whatever. Those things do not help in a conversation. So to avoid name-calling, judgmentalism, and condescension. Thirdly, to stick to the facts, to avoid hypothetical situations. The facts are that both the fully vaccinated and the unvaccinated can pass on the disease. Now, someone will say, well, the fully vaccinated are not passing the disease as much. Well, that will depend on how strong their immune system. If the vaccines are working, then you expect them to bolster the immune system and therefore to not allow them to get sick. But if 17% of the 105,000 cases of Delta in Britain, in England, so from the public health of England says 17% of those who've fallen ill to the disease, to COVID, are the fully vaccinated, then it's simply a scale on the grey. And these are the scientific facts. So, but once someone starts to show symptoms, they can then give the disease to someone else. That's why it's important, whether we're fully vaccinated or not, if we show symptoms, to withdraw from mingling as much as possible and hence self-isolate. Fourthly, to focus on the importance of the relationship that you are in fact dealing with, because COVID will pass. Relationships will in fact, COVID will pass and relationships are far more important. But people are experiencing ostracization by their families, by loved ones, because they're being accused, particularly those who have chosen for whatever reason to not be vaccinated. They're being accused as you're not a team player, you're an anti-vaxxer, you don't want to help society, and so forth. It's not that at all. And name calling can go both directions. And again, for those who are unvaccinated, talking to those who are vaccinated, then to be patient in their convictions and listening to things. So it requires us to focus on the relationship and the importance of that relationship and to value that, to not let it be destroyed by a disease, something that's passing. Love in family members is way too precious to allow it to be compromised by a silly disease that's here today and gone tomorrow, even though it will be here with us for several years at least. And then finally, a fifth point is to know how to agree to disagree. When you realize that the other person isn't interested in a sincere conversation, then you realize you can't go any further. And so rather than allowing it to become escalated, it's better to allow it to actually say, you know what, let's just agree to disagree. Because some people are able to discuss calmly, dispassionately, factually, and are genuinely interested in what you have to say. Others, unfortunately, are just going to be prejudicial, regarding of which side of the fence they happen to be on. So here they are again. Listen sincerely and attentively. Secondly, to avoid condescension or name-calling or judgmentalism in our attitudes within the conversation, talking to someone about COVID, be they family, work colleague, social group, whatever it happens to be. Thirdly, to stick to the facts. Stick to the scientific facts as best you know them. But the fact here that you need to focus on is that both fully vaccinated, single vaccinated, or unvaccinated, once they can get sick, and once they get sick, they can pass it on. So that's the fact. And fourthly, to focus on the importance of the relationship, and fifthly, to agree to disagree. That's an important, and that requires good judgment. So thanks for joining me. If you like this video, press like and subscribe and the little bell so you can get a reminder or notification of the next video. And I look forward to joining you again next time. Thank you.